Welcome to the Empower Network TV. Today we're going to be featuring the Overcoming Roundtable with 4 powerhouses. So I hope you're all buckled up and you got your belts on and seatbelts fastened tightly. I'll do quick introductions. Well, I'll just do this. So welcome here, Katharina. Welcome, Kathy. Welcome, Mariah. Welcome, Arletta. I'm so thankful you all can be here. I will let you guys go around and please do a brief introduction on who you are, what you do, and then we'll jump right to it. Katharina, can you kick us off, please?
Sure. Hello, everyone, and excited for tonight. I am Katharina Kunz, and I am kind of your one-stop body shop. Personal trainer for over 27 years, comprehensive health coach, embodiment coach, and really like helping women to really step into loving their bodies where they are and feeling at home in their bodies.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Arletta Allen, can you go next?
Sure thing. Hey, everybody. My name is Arletta Allen, and I am a professional keynote speaker, also trauma recovery expert and healing strategist. I'm also a speaker's coach. And so I train other speakers to go out into the market to become their very best selves and to be able to target their proper audience. I'm so excited to be here today. And there's so much more to me, but I'm sure I'll get a chance to explain that.
Thank you, Arletta Allen. So happy you're here too. Mariah Jean, please, who are you? What are you all about?
Yeah, well, that's a loaded question, Amos, but for today, for this 90 seconds. Yeah, so I'm Mariah Jean. I am a coach and consultant for spiritual entrepreneurs, those who are here to build a new thing on the earth that is needed for such a time as this. And we do that through building up the wholeness of your identity. As a child of God, you can grow up into the maturity of what that looks like. And one of the key ways I do that is we figure out, we discern what that is and what that isn't. Because how many know, like, a lot of people want to tell you who you are. And I say the one who created you knows best, and you get to walk that out with him. So I walk that out with you and have a whole series of beautiful milestones and adventures that we get to do on the way to that. So that's me in this moment.
Amazing. Thank you, Mariah Jean. Thank you for being here too. And Kathy Elliott, lastly, who are you? What are you all about, girl?
I'm Kathy Elliott, and I'm an overcoming queen. Know how to do it. I'm an entrepreneur, transformational life coach, mother, traveler, adventurer, all the things. And happy to be here, part of Empower Network.
Wonderful to have you here, Kathy. Thanks so much for being here. All right, so Katharina, let's start with you. So what does overcoming look like to you in your life, and what have you had to do to become an overcomer? I know a bit of your story. So for those that have not seen your interview, please go and watch after Katharina's interview. It is an amazing story. But if you can give us the synopsis of what does that look like for you in your life, please, Katharina.
It's a loaded question. Yeah, so there's many aspects to our story. And for me, there are many opportunities to overcome. Really, the mindset is really what it is. And so many times we bump up against things in life. And sometimes it feels like it's happening to us. And sometimes we feel like, what is going on? I don't deserve this. I'm being a victim to the circumstance, what's happening. And regardless of what's showing up, the overcoming piece is really where, for me, I can step in and go, okay, if I truly, truly, truly believe that life is happening for me, then how is this happening for me? What is my opportunity here? And even though sometimes it might not feel fair, it's like only when I take ownership of my journey and how I meet the experience, then I am empowered. Then I can take my power back and be able to step into a new way of expressing myself and exploring myself. And so for me, it's been a series of big events that as I step into them, I recognize and realize that I have been through this before. It's just showing up differently. What lens do I need to put on in order for me to overcome? And rather than being somebody who is in the overcoming, I can now see myself as the one that is always becoming. And that today I get to become, because this experience is the fertilizer for my blossom.
Oh, that was amazing. This fertilizer is, that was okay, amazing. Thank you, Katharina. That was, wow. Arletta, let's go to you. You are someone who is familiar with overcoming. I've heard of.
Absolutely.
Can you please share, what does it look like? What has it looked like? What is it in your world to be an overcomer, please?
Well, if you're ever looking for me, just simply open the dictionary and look up the word overcomer. I'm pretty sure my photo is there. So I've overcome several different types of adversity in my life. A lot of them dealing directly with self. I believe that overcoming, or the idea of overcoming, is both internal and external. So there are things that you can control about a lot of things that happen in your life. And then those are the things that are out of your control that tend to weigh on you the heaviest. And so I've had to learn how to navigate putting my trust where it needs to go. And for me, it's in the Father, knowing that I'm able to look to him to give me the guidance that I need to be able to know what's in Arletta's control and what are the things I need to relinquish and turn over to him to better serve me. When it comes to different types of overcoming adversity, I've overcome divorces, I've overcome childhood trauma, I've overcome teen pregnancy, I've overcome prostitution, I've overcome being a high school dropout. I've overcome being a statistic. I've overcome being the only fly in the buttermilk, is like what I like to say, being the only Black person in a lot of spaces. A lot of times I've overcome what that looks like, because it's adverse and sometimes it can be lonely. I've overcome so many different things where I've had or allowed other people to attempt to try to define me. And so in my overcoming, it was important for me to be able to challenge my own personal belief in myself. And so it was bigger than a mindset shift. It required a mindset shift. However, the deterrent came in when I decided to choose me. So what did that choice look like for me? And so that's what's aided me and supported me in overcoming the different adversities that we'll face off with. And just trust me, as long as you keep living, life will keep lifing. So we're all overcomers in our own way. And so I'm just really excited to be here on the platform to be able to share amongst these other beautiful women about what adversity and overcoming and what the strength and the support that it takes to really do that.
Awesome. Thank you, Arletta. As long as you're living, life's going to keep life in. Is that what you said?
That's exactly what I said.
Thank you so much. Okay, another mic drop. Mariah, let's go to you. What has overcoming looked like for you?
Ooh, okay. So I'll cut to the story, the snippet of story. So I'm the oldest of 10 kids. And throughout my teenage years, my family began going into a patriarchal Christian cult. And so through a series of events, I was, as I'm growing up, and here I'm this woman who's told I can't go to college, I can't do anything in the world. I am meant to bear children, and trust me, my 2 children are the best thing I've ever done in my life. So like, I am the biggest fan of motherhood. But I was like, I know who I am is more than that. And I was, looking at my brothers and sisters coming after me, and I was like, man, you're such beautiful humans. Like, what does this look like to walk this out? And long story short, I ended up having an arranged marriage, also ran away to get married, and lost relationship with my family for 13 years. And that entire time just kept speaking life of like, this is not our story. Who we are is God is gonna come through. Like, this is, and so through a series of beautiful, magical, miraculous events, I now have relationship restored with all of my siblings. They are all amazingly vibrant human beings living free now. I'm super close with my dad, and I'm like, I look at who we are and I'm like, do not tell me what my God cannot do, because this is just the beginning. So that has been some of the series of events I've had to overcome. And through it all, I was like, what does love look like here? And love looks like speaking life over people who have even chosen to live in a hell. And we say, not on my watch. I will not let you drag anyone else with you. You can make that choice. I will love you from here, but love is going to abound, and it's going to look like hell no. And we are going to bring heaven to earth in this situation. So that's just some of the things. But that's the one that's enough in the past now that, I can actually, bring that one out. But it's just a deposit on what I know, everything else that we get to overcome on the earth in this moment we're living in.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. Thank you, Mariah Jean, for sharing. Kathy, let's go to you. What is it?
Wow, these women have some amazing stories. I think the first thing to remember is that we're all here to grow and expand. It's the very reason we're here. And so the obstacles or what we're overcoming is the first thing we need to really understand the beauty and the gift of them. And like Katharina said, you know, it is a mindset, and there's so many tools that we can use. Meditation, I think, is one of the best. Breath work, nature, being out in nature, and movement. We all have our arsenal of tools, you know, EFT, NLP, law of assumption, envisioning. I use all of those because I have had to overcome a lot of personal things, including divorce and sick children, sick parents, and they can go on. But I think the mindset is the first thing, is to remember everything is always happening for us. Everything is always going to work out. The present moment is the absolute most important thing as you are. And if you can just feel good in that present moment, you can get over anything. And that may sound simplistic, but it's so true. And that being said, I mean, we're here to understand what's happening to us, and either we'll repeat it or we're going to evolve. And there's always going to be another obstacle. And we can be grateful for that, because that is what causes the expansion and the growth. And so, you know, it's really, and I know that might be easy to say sometimes when everything's always working out for me, but you might have catastrophic obstacles. Like you might get a call from a stranger who says, your husband is having an affair with my wife, or your daughter is, you know, you get a diagnosis with your daughter with cancer, or a child is in addiction, or these catastrophic spaces that might not be so easy to say, oh, everything's working out for me. But what you can do in any given moment is find a space where you just feel a little bit better, you know, and you can just grow to get to that place, even in the catastrophic obstacles, to be able to get to that mindset of everything is working out for me. And time heals, you know, it certainly helps, but I really believe we can all get to that and get to the best feeling place at any given moment, to then elevate to the next best emotion until you're in a pretty much joyful space, regardless of your outside circumstances, you know.
Beautiful,
It can be.
beautiful.
Yeah, I really love that.
4 mic drops. Thank you, Kathy Elliott. That was wonderful. Katharina, you said, what is my opportunity here in overcoming? What do you mean by that? What do you do with that? What do you mean by that? Please take us deeper in that.
Okay. Because when we meet ourselves in life, it's really what was happening. We're meeting ourselves when we are facing an obstacle. And when we're facing a situation that we don't know what to do with, we're facing ourselves, we're facing a past self that went through something similar, that is triggering similar emotions. And sometimes we're projecting that past experience onto the current experience. And we're like looking through that lens of that and going, oh my gosh, right? So it's like, okay, how do I step outside of this body? How do I step up and observe, release myself from the being in it, and observe from another perspective, because I'll be able to see something fresh. I'll be able to see it in a new light. And so so then the aspect of the possibility is that now I can start to do something different. And it doesn't have to be big. It could be just that new lens, trying on that new lens. It could be, I'm just going to slow down. I'm just going to breathe. I'm going to go for a walk in nature first. I'm going to sleep on it. I'm going to do something different than I normally do when I'm faced with this situation. And so that's the opportunity that is meeting us. And then the next thing we know is that something starts to shift in us. And there's room for something to grow. There's room for something new. And that starts to take on life. And that creates a new awareness. It creates a new way of meeting ourselves. And next thing you know, it's like, oh, hi, I haven't met that self before, or I remember you. And so the more that we can start to discern and choose, who do I want to be in this situation? What self do I want to bring to this experience so that I can continue to evolve into the version of myself that is allowing me to feel more peaceful, allowing me to feel more forgiving, allowing me to feel more love, allowing me to feel more grace. And that's ultimately, I think, in a nutshell, what that means for me.
That was profound. Thank you, Katharina. We are meeting ourselves. That is profound through everything. Arletta, you said, as long as you're living, life is gonna keep lifing. Sorry, you said as long as you're living, life is gonna keep lifing. So can you please talk about that? I love it. What do you mean by that?
I think that any and everybody who heard me say that took on their own interpretation of what that meant. For some reason, the terms life will continue to life. For some reason, even if you've never heard the term before, it resonates somewhere. You understand what I mean, because you understand that none of us are exempt from adversity. None of us are exempt from life circumstances. None of us are exempt from the life cycle, the circle of life. Parents getting older, passing away, having to take on that responsibility. Children outgrowing the need to be right hitched at our side and thinking that they know and understand everything that the world has to offer and no longer want our advice. All the different adversities that happen throughout the different cycles of life. We can't get around them, even if we wanted to. And so what I really love the most about what Katharina had to say was, it was really about adapting to a growth mindset. It's about seeing it from a different positive perspective. And one of the things that's helped me tremendously with my growth journey and perspective in overcoming different adversities has been my practice in gratitude. I ground myself in the things that are working and choose not to focus on the things that aren't. And so if I give all my energy to the things that I see that are positive, that are working in my favor, it gives me less attention and energy to the things that just aren't, because that negative energy will consume you. And it's built there to do just that. It's built to consume you. And so if you can become more mindful of the fact that gratitude is a power that we all possess. And it's in the simple sitting and being in the moment. It's a moment where you can take even your mind, your thoughts. If you think about all the things that you're grateful for, even the breath that we breathe, this moment right now, the number one asset of time that we're utilizing right now that we can't get back, but we're in this moment and we're here together and we're helping others by streaming forth inspiration and an outpouring of what it takes to overcome adversity. And we all need that. It's showing forth support. And when I think about that, I'm grateful. And so it takes me to a different mindset. I don't have to focus on the 50 million things that's going on in my business that I could be focused on, but I'm going to keep it right here and be grateful for this moment. So that's helped me. And I certainly hope that a gratitude practice helps you too.
Wow. Thank you, Arletta. Profound. Mariah, you said bringing heaven to earth. What do you mean by that? Why do you want to do it? Obviously, but I really want to actually answer. Why do you want to do that? What does that mean to you? And how do we do that?
Oh man, it's so funny. I was making notes when Katharina and Arletta were talking. I'm like, it all comes full circle. This is so fun. I literally wrote down, I was like, when we are presented with these situations, we get to find out not just who we are, but who we are choosing to be. Through this is it's our classroom. It is presenting us with this opportunity where we get to be introduced to this new version of ourselves over and over and over again. I am not the same woman I was 20 years ago, not the same woman I was last week. I'm not the same woman I was days ago, this morning even. Like, this is my greatest privilege of my life, is get to meet this new version of myself over and over and over again. And so one of the ways I found that in this school is when I hear it's going to keep life. And all of us are familiar with those things in our family that is like, man, life just seems to like going this way for us. Right. And it's right. It's like, and there are literal metaphysical, quantum physics laws that our life is running on. There are generational patterns, there are generational tracks, there are a million things that are the laws surrounding us are running on. And that life is going to keep life in the way it's been lifing until we step up in our agency and choose to engage it and be like, not on my watch. Here's what's
That
going to
part.
happen. Because I am a son, a daughter of the one who created all this, and I have been delegated the agency, the authority to speak a new law into place right here.
Yes.
And I could go deep into how this works, but this is where we get to operate in that. And we're bringing by bringing a new set of laws into place, we are opening up a whole new administration. And I say administration in the ways we as first world peoples here understand, like presidential administrations or just governmental administrations. What are the laws of the land running on? We get to partner with installing new laws. And there are the laws of heaven where everyone wins. And I'm tired of living in a world where there are winners and there are losers. I'm just not here to do that anymore. So I'm here to, Amos, that's why I'm here, because you're like, we are setting up a situation where everyone wins. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to make this place look more like heaven than it did last year.
Yes.
That's what we're going to keep doing. So that's part of what I mean, Amos.
Okay, you guys are all just steamrolling me. That's fine. I don't
Oh
mind.
God, I love her energy.
Yeah.
Love it.
All are amazing. It's like, it just works together so perfectly. Amos like he's master at bringing it all together, all of us.
I'm just enjoying getting flattened by all of you. So this is wonderful. Thank you, Mariah Jean. Kathy, you said everything is always happening for us. What do you mean by that? Can you break that down?
Yeah, so I really believe, and I think most of us understand, that we create our own reality. We are playing the play in the hologram, and sometimes we forget that, and that all of our thoughts and everything that's happening is happening for us, and we're creating it. And just like Arletta said, one of the most important things is to stay in that positive mindset, and then you're going to reflect positivity in your life. It's a law, basically.
That's right.
And as she also said, gratitude is another thing that I think is just, stays at the top of the list to be able to maintain in the positive space. And then the third piece that I think really helps is really having compassion, because we all have these obstacles and things we have to overcome, but you will almost always find somebody else that has a more tragic obstacle or something that looks more difficult, that they might not see it that way, but there's always more. And so we can just have the compassion for where we are and turn that into just continuing to change our mindset and use our mindset and be positive and create the life we want. We get to we get to create our life exactly the way we want. And I use the law of assumption a lot. I don't know if many of you know, it's visioning. And I've explained some of this to Amos before, like when my daughter was in the hospital in an induced coma on a ventilator with an ECMO machine. And she was in the ICU for over 100 days. And in that state, I was able to get into a place of just being able to vision her. I disregarded my existing circumstances and was able to get to a place where I would just vision her graduating from high school, or vision her in a wedding gown. And just, I'm getting chill bumps. And I was there. It wasn't just, I was in a different reality, and you can do it. It's jumping timelines. We can do that.
Yes.
And so I'm there doing that. And it's, and again, I also knew that it was not necessarily to make it happen that she would get better. It was more for me to be able to be in a feel-good space, to be able to even deal with the medical issues, the other two children, all the other things, because she still is creating her life. So there was a chance that, I prayed and hoped that she would live, but I knew there was a chance that it was still her life. And my job was to create my life and see her as a healthy, thriving kid.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it's amazing stuff to really be able to be in a different mindset reality. You put yourself in a different reality and it will change your existing reality.
Mhm.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Kathy about to make me run through this living room. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm about to run through this living room, and that's gonna have to be enough, okay? Okay. I had never heard it put that way. That was so incredible. I'm sorry, I had to say something, Amos. I had to.
Ah,
Yeah.
it's the group energy. I got major chill bumps going all over.
Yeah. Kathy, thank you for your
Man.
you guys are all deeply impacting me and others and yourselves. So now we're going to let you guys riff. Katharina, where do you want to take this?
Interesting. Well, I love the dynamic that's going on here. And each of you ladies are dynamos. And I love that there's this interplay that is happening. And regardless of what our history is and what we have overcome, and we have overcome many, many things. And in the movement forward, so I'm kind of curious for you ladies too, what you have to say about the stepping into, the moving forward into. It's like, I know that there's going to be more obstacles, right? And that what life is. And it's like life keeps lifing. And so that's part of that. And so part of the envisioning too, that Kathy was talking about, of like, we get to create the life that we want. So we get to change the trajectory of the kind of overcomings that we have. And that sometimes it's not always these fear of failure and fear of embarrassment or fear of whatever that might be, but sometimes it's the fear of success too. And so being able to notice they're not necessarily triggers, but being able to notice the signs along the way of like, oh, right. Because sometimes it can be a little tricky and something is showing up, and it's not until we bump up against ourselves that we see that, oh, I'm coming up against a fear of mine, and being able to shed all of the stuff around it to be able to allow it to emerge and to see it for what it truly is. So I'm curious, what that looks like for each of you.
Great question, Katharina. Arletta, let's let you take wherever you want to go. Go for it.
Well, let me go ahead and dive in on where Katharina was. But I will say this: overcoming in itself, I dare not forget that the one thing that we oftentimes get intertwined in while we're going through different adversities in life is forgetting that we don't arrive alone. That there are supports in place, there are people that come alongside of us, there are resources that are always there, always present, that we can tap into, whether it be your relationship with God, whether it be seeking a counsel group, whether it be seeking a therapist, seeking whatever it is you may need. Adversity comes in different sizes. Sometimes you got little molehills that you can just, hop over them. And then you get them big old walls, mountains, ginormous adversities that you sometimes question whether or not, God, am I going to make it? Am I going to make it through this moment right here where I'm standing? Kathy, I know you know what I'm talking about, because you were faced with that when you were watching your baby sit up there and fight for her life. So at the same time, when we face those types of mountains, we have to remember to tap into the people that are resources that are surrounding us. Because sometimes it's not about the strength that you carry within, it's about the strength in numbers. Those that you're attached to, connected to, and being able to pull for you when you can't pull for yourself. So one of the major things that I've done on my journey for overcoming is never forget that I do not arrive alone. I seek support. I look for those that are around me who can speak life into me when I don't see it for myself. I look for those who are there for me, who love me, just like, look, without any type of intentions behind it, but just love Arletta and want to just pour into me, because sometimes I don't have the strength to do it for myself. And it's important to recognize those people that have been assigned to you to help carry you and also restore the strength that you need to keep it moving, because adversity, once again, we already talked about life, and that's not going to stop happening. But see, when it comes to your support group, that never has to end either. You can always have those people that you love and you hold on to when it gets tough. And that's what's pulled me through. I didn't make it by myself. I had a praying mother. You know, I had my babies, them 4 sets of eyes looking back at me that gave me strength to go on when I wanted to like just literally quit, like give up. And then I looked at them and saw that that was not an option. So what's my next option? There were so many times where I had to tap into others, women's groups, my girlfriends, they'll get on the couch and pull out a glass of wine and cry with me. I got them, but these are the people, these are the resources, these are the people that I tapped into that helped me to overcome the different adversities that I faced off with. I did not do it alone. So my advice, don't do it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in the best type of church right now, not in the, not the religious type, but in the way it's supposed to be, the real type. This is amazing.
Yep.
Thank you, Arletta. Mariah, where do you want to take it?
Oh man. Well, I definitely resonate with, we cannot make it alone without those people. I mean, shoot, Jesus didn't do his first miracle until his mom was like, I know who you are. Can you just show up, please? Like
That part.
Yeah, like there's a ministry of recognition of like, I see who you are, and I would not be who I am without those key people at key moments. So that just speaks to the power of your words and your mouth and your ability to show up for people. For me, there's that end of the spectrum of we are not in a bubble. We do need people. Then there's those moments where there's no one around. There's no one there. And you have to find out, like, who am I choosing to be in this moment? And for me, I keep coming back to story. Like, Jesus used story because it's one of the most influential things. I mean, every marketing agency on the planet right now is using story to influence, to bring people into living a new story. And so I keep coming back to, who am I going to be? Who am I going to live? What story am I going to be? And am I going to live? Who am I going to be? Archetypes are a thing for a reason. I want to keep becoming this new version of myself that can solve better problems, right? The life is going to be life in a whole different way because I said so. Because I'm going to show up and I'm going to live by those rules. I change the rules. That's how this is going to go down. And so every time I come up against a new problem, I'm like, okay, what is this one showing me? What mountains do I get to move? Because this is in front of me. And I have to ask my divine instruction. Do I go around this mountain? Do I speak to it? Do I climb it? Do I shovel it away one shovel at a time? And we build those muscles, whatever it is. But every time it's like, this Goliath is in front of me to show me the David that I am meant to be right now. Here. And so living the story. And so guys, as a kid, I romanticized the heck out of every single thing. And I realized I just keep doing this over and over and over again. Till I'm like, I was Wonder Woman 5 years ago. Now I'm a whole different set of, feminine archetypes that I'm just like, no, we're just going to go live this. And I'm just going to raise up. Guys, can I tell you, there's this, I don't want to give away storylines, but there's a couple superhero movies where the superhero gives their power away to their family, to a whole new set of people. I bawl every time because like, that is my life goal, to like amass all this divine power and give away all of it. So everyone knows and they get to live this story of who they really are. And it's their choice. It's the beauty. That's the beauty. It's their choice. They get to choose. And so I'm like, I just want to live like the David who was like, you know what? My family don't get me. They're putting me out in the field. I'm going to take down these lions. I'm going to take down these bears. This is who I am. And he just spends that time with the Most High, and he shows up on the scene and there's a giant trying to take over his nation. He's like, heck no. I know how we do here. I've been practicing this. I've been playing this. I know how this is. And he operated by that set of laws, and he showed up and he changed the course of the entire history of the land for like centuries, millennia. I'm like, that is the power that each of us carry. And that's how I'm choosing to show up. So I'm just so resonant with what you guys are saying. I see it all woven together, and we need every single person's vantage point with every single modality. We need every single person's languaging, because there are people who speak your language and need your story and need your vibe. And so I am here for all of it. So good.
All right. Thank you. That was wonderful. Kathy, where do you want to go?
I love your energy, Mariah. And Arletta, you are so easy to love. You will always have people loving on you. Well, one thing I do think too, we hadn't really addressed, is I do think overcoming is a muscle, and things do, the more you have experiences and get through them, it's just like we talked about, there are always going to be adversities and challenges, but the more you handle them calmly and can control your fight flight reflexes and really have more of a space of calmness, understanding that we, as much as we love to have others help us, we're never alone. We're always have universe, higher power, God with us, always, regardless if you're in a room by yourself. So, I think they do get easier, and that's why we don't repeat a lot of the same things. Once we get the message that, we don't have to have this as an adversity, we can, it's either, one of my favorite sayings is you either repeat or evolve, one or the other. So yeah.
Next level me.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, Kathy. You guys just symbiotic.
Mm.
Something's going on because this happened today earlier on the
Summit.
micro summit. The same thing happened. I'm not sure what's going on. Katharina, what are you feeling right now? What are your thoughts?
Other than a little bit of smoke outside, so I'm like coughing and overcoming the obstacle that's here right now. But I'm feeling so invigorated and aligned because of the alignment that's happening, right? And it's just that part of like when we surrender to not having to make this kind of thing happen, that we can trust that there is an alignment happening for us because we are stepping more into the alignment of the self that we want to become. And as we do so, those people come into play to meet us there so that we can grow together and share and expand in that expansive space that we have already awoken to in our own journeys. And when we share that and step into that place together, that's where the magic happens. And that's when we start to feel the wonderment of and the awe of life, that it shows up in such simple ways. Like just go up to a flower and study it and just like mind blowing, right? And that's what we are too. And we're all these beautiful flowers. And when we can stop comparing, my flower to your flower, or my flower 10 years ago or 20 years ago, especially as we age, right? It's like the resiliency and the beauty that is, and that's what love is being able to witness beauty. And it's the witnessing of that is the expression of love. And so when I can start to do that in the mirror, and I can start to do that with more people in my life, even when I'm triggered or when they're triggering me, then how do I step into that wonderment? How do I step into the curiosity of finding that wonderment? And so the more curious that we get, I think that's also the part where things come up for us that we get to overcome, and we get to experience that for that purpose. And yeah, I'm elated with this experience right now.
Thank you, Katharina. By witnessing, we're loving it, because by witnessing it, we're seeing it and we're honoring it. Right?
Yeah. And the beauty of it, even that things that are not like, that might be difficult, right? The idea of what we think beauty is, the lens of beauty, it's like beauty can be destruction sometimes too.
Many different things.
Beauty can be death sometimes too, because there's something that's going to emerge from that. And that feeling of what's coming through, there's something being birthed all the time in every loss.
Thank you, Katharina. Arletta, where do you want to go?
To church. Like, just
I think you're at it.
sign me up. Like, just
Church. Best
no,
church
but for
ever.
real. I just wanted to I'm just gonna pour a little love out here because first of all, this has been incredible. Just connecting with all these different brilliant minds, first of all, and hearing your experiences. It's been overwhelming love for me. And I want to leave you with this before we go. I want you to know that also, don't forget to celebrate the fact that you were able to step into your adaptability, because storms aren't easy, but you taught yourself to love change while you were on the journey. You may not believe it and you may not have seen it while you were in the midst of it, but you taught yourself to love change because you begin to move yourself. I always say when I'm on platforms, I say I did a smooth bend, but I never broke, honey. I was not created to break, but flexibility in my setbacks, being flexible and my mindset, being flexible, and how I view the adversity has really, really helped me to be able to truly be an overcomer. And so I celebrate you all. I celebrate you and being here now in this moment and making it through everything, even the things that the enemy tried to throw. Look, you're here. And you're here for a reason, and somebody else needs that message that you carry. So I'm happy that we're here together in the Empower Network and really getting these messages out here, because I know that I'm not the only one that feels full on tonight.
Thank you, Arletta. You are not. That's right, girl. Oh, Mariah, what's on your heart?
Oh man, I'm just loving how there is so much synergy and symbiosis here, and I just, Katharina, when you're saying, I paraphrased it, tell me if I could improve this, but love is appreciating beauty and honoring it. And when you ask Amos, like, how are you feeling in this moment? And I realized what comes to me is I'm feeling creative. And that's where I have found the beauty in facing these things of like, how can I take this situation and create beauty out of ashes? And I really resonate. There's a scripture. I think I called this out in maybe the first interview we did, Amos, but it's where a man who'd been separated from his family for, so long, he's like, everything intended for evil can be used for the saving of many lives. And being someone who has been separated from my family in very similar ways, similar storyline, I'm like, I look now, and because of what happened in my family, like tens of thousands of people were actually set free through that situation, through how it happened. And so I'm like, when I say, do not tell me what my God cannot do, I'm like, he's trying to give you an opportunity to show up and be so effing powerful that you don't have a clue. He's like trying to give you superpowers. And this is how we do it. And we show up and be like, how do I get creative with this? How do I make like the essence of the creator take on that nature and look at this situation? And sometimes it's the terror of a blank canvas. Sometimes it's like staring that blank thing in the face and like, oh my gosh, I have to show up and be colorful and creative, right? Arletta, look at your shirt, right? Like sometimes we got to show up.
Got all the colors, all the colors.
And it's like, but maybe people aren't ready, think they're not ready for that. And they don't know it till you bring it. You got to get creative with it. And so that's how I'm looking at it, because guys, I'm looking at the global landscape. I'm like, dude, we got to get creative, guys. We have the biggest opportunity in history in front of us in these years right now. And it's why I'm here in the Empower Network, is that this is the culture with which we get to, it is the perfect like petri dish of like creativity that we get to work with right now. There were so many scenarios or analogies I wanted to run with, and that's the one that came out. But anyway, sometimes you got to get the thing out and run with it. And that's, Amos, you've done an epic job of just doing that. Look, we're here now because you have done that over and over and over and over again. So that is how I view these situations. I'm like, oh, here's a new one. How do I get creative? What can I learn? How can I, finesse my technique through this, right? Like, and so I'm just looking forward to learning new techniques from you guys. Like truly become artists with this. It's going to be so fun.
Thank you, Mariah. And thank you, Arletta. Yeah.
Amos, yeah.
These women are amazing.
Oh, y'all.
So what do you think about this? Changing the mood a little bit, but what about doing, I know that meditation has been something that has really been able to change my emotional and physical state. Wondering if we could go into a quick 5-minute guided meditation for a minute. I can't hear you.
Sure, go ahead.
Are you game? It's changing the mood a little bit.
No, go, if you feel led, go for it.
Okay, all right, so get comfortable for a minute and just close your eyes. Take a deep belly breath in and a slow exhale, releasing any tension in your body. One more time, inhale and exhale. Let's begin by visualizing standing at the edge of a tranquil, lush green forest. The air is crisp, and you can feel a gentle breeze and hear the rustling of leaves just above you. You feel a sense of calm and peace washing over you. As you walk into the woods, you notice a path ahead. The path represents your journey to overcome any obstacle in your life. Now step onto the path, knowing the way home is this way. With each step, you feel a growing sense of direction. The next step, you feel more determination. And another step, you find resilience within you. Ahead, you notice a small stream flowing gently over smooth stones. Step onto the stones in the stream now and allow the cool water to wash away any doubts or fears you may have about facing your obstacle. Feel a renewed sense of strength and confidence coursing through your veins. You now feel more empowered. As you continue along the path, you come across a beautiful, majestic tree. This tree represents your inner wisdom. Walk up to the tree and place your hands directly on its trunk. Feel the energy and power emanating from the tree. Know that you possess this same strength within yourself. Breathe in the strength now and feel the power of the universe supporting you. You are not alone. Take a moment to reflect on an obstacle you are currently facing. Acknowledge its presence without judgment or attachment. And remember, this is what you are here for, growth and expansion. Imagine a bright white light shining down upon you, illuminating your entire body and your path as it fills you with hope. Allow this light to envelop you, radiating warmth and love. Feel it dissolving all barriers or limitations that might have been keeping you stuck in the problem. You are free now to see from a different perspective. Now visualize yourself rising above the forest, gaining a higher perspective on your life and challenges. From this vantage point, you can see the interconnectedness of all things and the infinite possibilities that lie ahead. With each breath, feel your inner strength and determination growing. Trust in yourself and your ability to overcome any obstacle that comes your way. Affirm to yourself, I am capable, resilient, and resourceful. I have the power to overcome any challenge. Take a moment to express gratitude to your higher self for the lessons and growth that your obstacles have provided you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Embrace any wisdom that's come to you through this meditation and slowly bring yourself back to physical surroundings and open your eyes. Carry this newfound strength and belief in yourself with you as you face any obstacles that come your way. Remember, you're capable of overcoming anything.
Wow. Wow.
How do you feel? Took the mood down a bit, sorry.
Like I need a nap.
Yeah.
It's been a long day, Kathy.
Well, that was wonderful, Kathy. Thank you for having the courage to lead us through that. And I just want to let you ladies all wrap it up, you know, in the next minute, 2-3 minutes. Thank you all for being here. This was very special.
Thank you, Amos. And thank you, ladies, too. And this all really kind of, for me, just to wrap up, I call these overcoming moments chrysalis moments. that this is where sometimes it can get a little messy and a little gooey. And if we let ourselves fall apart, if we let ourselves sit in that chrysalis for as long as we need to be, we're leaning in for that support from others, leaning into the wisdom that we have within, and allowing ourselves to emerge, to fly on the other side. And these chrysalis moments are the becoming. And that's what reminded me of we were talking about art, and it's the art of becoming.
Mm.
And that the overcoming is our medium, that we can, create that canvas and really, really be this masterpiece that we are, and enjoy the messy moments too. Just like when you watch somebody paint, sometimes it's like, what are you painting? And then you can't believe what emerges from it. It's just mind-blowing. And that's what we all are. All of us, every single one of us are living art.
Oh,
So enjoy the art of becoming. Thank you for the opportunity to connect with you ladies, and Amos, of course, you're just so amazing in creating these opportunities. And for all of you out there, you're beautiful.
I received that. I was like,
Good.
I received that. I don't allow for people to put, compliments in the atmosphere, and I don't pull them down. So,
That.
but I show up as art. I really do. As you guys can tell, you see, very, very colorful, right? So I'm literal art. But the most important thing, I think, is my authenticity. And what I want to encourage you all in is, as we're overcoming adversity and as we're showing up in different spaces, never take away from the beauty of who you are as an individual. Never try to compromise and become something that you aren't. And tell the story and remember that it's yours. It's yours to tell. And so don't allow for people to extract from it because it makes them uncomfortable. But a lot of times the things that makes us most uncomfortable are the things that grow us the most. And so I know for some of us, it might have been courage to step out on this platform and share in overcoming adversity. But you know what? We did it. We're here. And I know that many people were blessed by it. I know that I was personally blessed by it, by each and every one of you. And so I just want to say thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be here. Thank you for allowing this moment. And if you need me, you know where to find me, right there in the Empower Network.
thank you, Arletta. Thank you, Katharina. Mariah, Kathy, any closing, and then we'll wrap.
I don't know that I definitely cannot improve on how Katharina shared that, but I felt like she touched on a very, very critical and important note of like that chrysalis. Sometimes you got to turn to goo. You have to accept the moments you're like, I got nothing in me, because I can tell you I've had millions of those. And allowing myself to turn to that goo and rely on the strength of that chrysalis to like, you know what? Thank God this crystal is here to hold me together in this moment. And yeah, maybe I'm contained, but out of this, I can be transformed. But we have to accept that moments where we feel completely empty, completely dry, completely like, I don't got it, because that we are getting poured out so we can get poured back in. And so that is like, I'll talk about the, being empowered all day long, but you don't get there without doing this over and over and over again. So thank you for bringing that up. And then setting your eyes on like, no, that's where I've been. This is where I am now, but where am I going? And that's where I feel like all of you brought such beautiful ways for each of us to grab hold of what works for us in this moment and go into the next and become stronger through it.
Thank you, Mariah. Well said. Kathy, I want to.
Just grateful for you guys' story. I feel like the growth and expansion has been amazing just right here in the last hour and 10 minutes or whatever. And so I'm just really grateful to be here with you and hear your stories. And thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you for watching the Empower Network TV. If you've been listening or watching, you've been listening to Katharina Coons, Arletta Allen, Mariah Jean, and Kathy Elliott. We appreciate you being here and taking the time out of your day, and we trust and hope this was a blessing to you. And we'll be seeing you soon.